Previously on Hunter x Hunter, our hero shattered deadly exams, escaped lethal traps, and faced a merciless system, while the enemy unleashed chaos. The stakes exploded, blood boiled, and now the story continues. The forest devours the exam candidates whole, roots clawing at their boots as Kiriko's amber eyes flicker through the gloom. Rio darts forward, hauling a bleeding hunter to safety while spitting curses at the unseen beast. Gon and Killua sprint beside the snarling demon beast, hearts hammering as Kiriko snarls. The venue lies beyond the cursed thicket. Their breath fogs the night, and the hidden arena trembles on the brink of revelation. The forest swallows the hopefuls whole, twisted roots clawing at their boots as Kiriko, a sleek silver-eyed fox spirit, steps from shadow and snarls a single warning. Rio lunges forward, cradling a wounded stranger, his grin hardening into grim resolve.
Rio slams his palm onto trembling bark, demanding the wounded traveler's coordinates. Kiriko's amber eyes flicker, then a guttural whisper guides him toward a moss-clad ridge where fog curls like serpents. Gon darts ahead, his heartbeat syncing with the forest's pulse, while Killua, eyes narrowed, watches the demon beast's twitching tail for hidden traps. Kurapika clutches his scarlet chain, ready to strike if the path turns treacherous.
Their breaths ragged, they stare at the looming darkness ahead. Gon pushes forward, lungs burning, because the hidden arena is his only chance to pass. Killua darts beside him, slicing hanging vines that block the trail, his focus razor-sharp on the path Kiriko points out. Kiriko leads Gon and Killua through cursed forest, slashing vines, while Rio drags a bleeding stranger into a safe clearing as ancient mist coils around their feet. Gon risks his life to prove himself, feeling his heart pound, while Killua bears the weight of protecting his friend, and Rio sacrifices his strength, fearing the stranger's death. A looming darkness erupts from twisted roots, revealing a massive, unseen enemy silhouette, leaving the trio frozen as the forest devours light and the hidden arena's true purpose remains unknown. The next chapter recap drops in days. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari before it goes live. 10,000 hopefuls crowd the hall, each heartbeat louder than the last, because only 1 in 10,000 walks out a hunter. The massive doors slam shut, sealing them inside a cavern of nervous chatter and false confidence. A masked figure slips through the crowd, whispering promises of glory, while the real danger looms in the shadows. Hisoka, the infamous rookie crusher, eyes the room like a predator. The hopefuls clutch their registration slips, desperate to prove they're more than ordinary. The room suddenly stills as the announcer's voice booms. Welcome to the first phase. The air crackles with both excitement and dread.
Only the strongest survive this test.
The true nightmare has only just begun. A tall figure steps forward, his badge flashing, muscles rippling as he declares himself a wrestler of unmatched power. Gon's eyes widen, sensing a rival who could push him beyond his limits. Killua watches the same man, noting his tenacity, calculating how to exploit the opponent's overconfidence. Kurapika studies the newcomer's stance, recognizing the precision of a seasoned combatant, already plotting how to use his own chains against such strength. Rio, clutching his registration, feels a spark of determination, realizing he must learn from these masters to survive. The crowd parts as the wrestler raises his fists, the air thick with anticipation. The arena's true test is about to begin, and no one is safe. The massive doors slam shut as the crowd erupts, and a towering challenger declares himself the unrivaled wrestler, forcing Gon to confront a rival who could shatter his limits. Gon's grin cracks with fear and determination, his chance to claim a coveted badge teetering between triumph and humiliation, while Killua watches the looming threat tighten its grip on their ambitions. The new examiner's ominous warning about a returning dangerous one leaves the hall trembling, promising a deadly newbie crusher trial that could erase every hopeful's future before it even begins. He's playing a completely different game than the rest of them. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. The forest erupts as the masked examiner's gun cracks, each shot a silent guillotine. Gon lunges, hurling a spear throw that shatters a branch, buying Killua a heartbeat to dive behind a trunk. Killua follows with a lightning-charged kick, scattering hopefuls. Leorio grabs a wounded comrade, shouting his promise to heal. The chase becomes a nightmarish sprint, every heartbeat echoing the exam's lethal promise. The masked examiner's rifle cracks through the canopy, each bullet a cold verdict. Gon darts forward, heart thundering like a drum. Killua mirrors him, reflexes flashing as they shield each other from the sniper's glare. The crowd swallows the announcement, the unknown distance stretching ahead like a black ribbon. No one knows where the route ends, only that the journey will test stamina and mind. Whispered rumors spread. Some claim the exam measures psychological endurance as much as physical speed. Panic flickers in a few eyes. Others grit their teeth, determined to outlast the mystery. The examiner's silent stare forces each candidate to confront their own doubts, turning every breath into a silent promise. As the group edges forward, a cold wind whistles, carrying the scent of impending danger. Killua steps forward, posture relaxed yet alert, and declares his name with a grin that hides a lethal pedigree.
Gon rigs a board into a sled and races down the frozen pond, evading the masked examiner's deadly shot. Gon's reckless gamble fuels his burning determination, while Leorio's vow ignites his resolve, risking death for the chance to become a hunter. The examiner's hidden rifle clicks, zeroing in on the speeding sled as the forest blurs, leaving everyone wondering if Gon will survive the lethal crosshair.
The world is expanding and you'll want a guide. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
Gon's blood-soaked promise ignites the arena. Only one hunter will survive this nightmare. He claws at the swamp's edge, heart hammering, because the exam's second phase forces him to stay alive. The marsh snarls with hidden traps, and a cold, sneering voice calls him worthless. Gon refuses to let the jeers shatter his resolve, lunges forward, and forces his legs through the muck despite the looming threat of elimination. The voice roars louder, but Gon's iron will fuel his stride, sending a ripple of fierce hope through the other examinees. And that's not even the worst part. Gon argues that becoming a hunter will grant him the information needed to free the Kara tribe, his voice shaking with fierce pride. Killua, ever pragmatic, points out that the richest contracts already bind the tribe's fate, sold to shadowy buyers on the black market. Leorio, still nursing his wound, adds that pride alone won't shield them from the darkness that trades lives. The examiner leans in, his gaze a cold contract, hinting that hunters chase petty riches while the world burns. Their plans crystallize. Gather intel, expose the market, protect the cursed eyes. The cost, a deeper entanglement with a corrupt system. But the real problem is already in motion.
Hunters chase truth, not treasure.
The candidates burst from the suffocating tunnel onto the marsh's slick surface as the examiner unleashes a sudden flood, turning the second exam arena into a deadly, swirling battlefield. Gon clutches his trembling hope of finding Jing, feeling his resolve ignite while Killua's greed sharpens, and Leorio's bleeding side forces him to choose between his oath and survival. As the waters rise and the examiner's voice counts the fallen, a hidden silhouette emerges from the murk, promising a lethal showdown that could claim every remaining hope.
Secure your access to the best manhwa recaps before the algorithm hides them. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The fog marsh swallows their cries as slime-slick tendrils slam into the candidates, forcing Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio into a frantic, blood-splattered pact. They dart between the choking mist, each strike coordinated, each breath a gamble, while the other enemy devours any misstep. Every reckless swing threatens disqualification, turning survival into the exam's deadliest lesson. The fog swallows the arena as Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio stumble into the murky marsh, their breaths fogging in the chill. A hulking, slime-slick horror erupts, lashing tendrils that shred any exposed skin. Ignoring the exam's no-friendly-fire rule, they synchronize. Gon's Jajankin thrust, Killua's lightning bursts, Kurapika's chain snap, forcing the beast back into the mist, their survival sealing an uneasy pact. The slime mass looms, its gelatinous form rippling like a living nightmare. Gon lunges, shouting for Killua to flank, his voice cracking through the fog. Killua snaps his fingers, lightning arcing, slicing the creature's surface, sending shards of slime spraying. Kurapika darts, chains whipping, binding the torn limbs to keep the beast from swallowing Leorio. Leorio fires a concentrated burst of emission-type Nen, sealing the wounds with a hardening aura. Together they push the slime back, buying a breath of relief.
Stay sub to Manwa with Hari, or you'll miss the climax.
The marsh quiets, but the exam's next phase looms larger. Exhausted, the four stumble forward, the fog clawing at their eyes. Gon lunges through the choking fog, slashing at the gelatinous slime as Killua crackles lightning, while the hidden examiner watches, his grin widening as the creature erupts into spiky, hissing fragments. Gon feels his resolve shatter, Leorio's hope wanes. Kurapika risks everything to shield his friends, and the group teeters on the brink of elimination under the merciless, no-attack rule. A feral voice erupts from the darkness, demanding the examiner end the cruel game, while the fog thickens, concealing unseen eyes that stalk the exit and threaten to swallow the remaining candidates.
Thousands of us are reading this together. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and join the discussion.
The fog swallows Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika. Then Hisoka erupts from the mist, his grin a razor edge. Bungee gum snaps, binding Gon's wrist as the former assassin launches a relentless barrage. Gon snarls, unleashing a desperate, blood-splattered punch that shatters the haze. Hisoka laughs, whispering, "Come back when you're stronger." A sudden laugh pierces the choking mist as Hisoka steps from the shadows, his grin widening like a blade. He flicks his wrist, bungee gum snapping toward Gon, who lunges with raw, desperate force. Killua darts beside him, his palms sparking with electricity, while Kurapika's scarlet eyes flare, twin chains rattling. A chilling laugh echoes as a figure steps from the fog, counting aloud, 9, 10. His smile widens, then he snaps, 1, 2. The voice belongs to Hisoka, his eyes gleaming with cruel amusement. He pauses, then declares, "Smart move. I'll give you 10 seconds as a reward." The countdown ticks like a heartbeat, each second a thin thread of hope before the next attack. The three hunters brace, muscles coiled, desperate to use the brief window. The air crackles with tension, every second pulling them closer to either survival or a fatal mistake.
Smart move. I'll give you seconds as a reward.
The clock winds down, and the true test of their resolve begins. The fog lifts just enough for the exam overseers to appear, a line of stern faces framed by ancient stone. Their goal is to test the aspirants' resolve, to weed out the weak before they even earn a badge. The candidates stand before a massive iron gate that blocks the path to the next stage, the gate itself a puzzle they must solve. The examiners present a single, cryptic instruction: solve the riddle or be turned away. Gon's jaw tightens, Killua's eyes scan for hidden clues. Leorio grips his fists, and Kurapika steadies his breathing, each feeling the weight of failure. The gate remains shut, the challenge unbroken, and the mist swirls once more, hiding whatever secret lies beyond. Hisoka materializes from the choking fog, snaps his bungee gum like a spring, and drives it into Gon's throat, forcing the boy's blood-soaked fists to flare against the unseen trap. Gon feels his resolve shatter as his body burns with pain, while Killua watches helplessly, fearing their friendship may fracture under the merciless test. The bungee gum tightens, sealing the group in a silent snarl, and the looming overseers glare, promising a deadly decision that could end their hunter dreams forever.
Videos like this get buried all the time. Hit subscribe on Manwa with Hari so we don't lose each other.
Gon bursts through the sinking marsh, lungs on fire, while Killua's silver hair whips in the wind of shattered reeds. Leorio drags a trembling bisque pig into the clearing just as Hisoka's grin flickers, a cruel reminder that death still stalks. Examiners Bick and Bahara step forward, knives glinting, demanding a feast from the terrified hunters. Gon lunges at the thundering bisque pig, his palm crackling with raw enhancement. Killua snaps a silver strand of transmutation, slicing the beast's hide in a flash of violet light. Kurapika's scarlet eyes narrow as he summons his chain, binding the creature's legs, while Leorio roars, "Finish it!" The horrified judges watch the carnage unfold. The canopy rustles as a distant chant counts down to noon, the start of the second exam. Bick and Bahara emerge between the trees, shifting the game from survival to culinary combat. Goal crystallizes. Locate the ferocious bisque pig and present it as a dish worthy of the judges. Obstacle. A creature rumored faster than a hunter's reflexes and tougher than steel. Gon, Killua and Leorio exchange silent nods, then humming, ready to turn terror into triumph.
The real hunt begins now.
Around a flickering fire, the scent of fresh earth mixes with the promise of a feast.
What comes next changes everything.
Bik and Bohara unleash the world's most ferocious pig, charging through the forest as the hunters scramble to capture it before they even think about cooking it. Gon feels triumph surge as his grand feast vision ignites, while Killua balances exhilaration with fear, and Leorio's hunger threatens to eclipse his composure, risking the team's unity. The unstoppable pig barrels toward the camp, its snout poised to crush everything, leaving the hunters with a ticking clock to subdue the beast before disaster erupts.
Imagine knowing exactly what happens before your friends do. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and be the one with the answers.
Menchi slams the metal plate onto the table, eyes glinting like knives. Gon scrambles rice with trembling hands. Killua flicks a blade of seaweed. Leorio smashes the tuna into a pulp, and Kurapika kneads the vinegar with desperate precision. The examiner's scowl deepens as each bite collapses, proof that true hunters master even absurd arts. Menchi slams the metal tray, eyes glittering like knives. Gon slaps raw fish onto rice, his fingers trembling, while Leorio frantically slices a carrot, muttering curses. Kurapika, eyes burning with clan vengeance, steadies his hand and rolls a flawless nilgirai sushi, then snaps it in half, blood spilling like his past. Panic spikes as Menchi declares the kitchen a battlefield for true culinary artists. Gon, Killua, and Leorio each claim they can craft a dish using only their hands, daring the examiner to accept their creative approach. Kurapika, eyes burning, vows to prove his clan's legacy can survive even this nonsense. Menchi smirks, demanding a special finish, and points at Leorio, forcing him to present his creation first. Leorio's hands shake, sweat drips, and he slams his makeshift sushi onto the slab, hoping the absurdity will somehow impress. The cost? Their dignity bruised beyond repair. He has no idea what's waiting. Menchi slams down a flawless oval, declaring the second half of the hunter exam dead, while Gon's mangled fish slab collapses in a mess of rice and shattered hopes. Gon feels his pride shatter as his desperate improvisation fails, leaving him teetering between humiliation and the burning resolve to prove himself against Menchi's ruthless standards. The remaining candidates stare at the empty kitchen, unsure whether any of them can summon the skill or will to meet Menchi's impossible demand before the next brutal test erupts.
A true ally is rare in this world. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The final test of the hunter exam erupts into a lethal sushi showdown that slays anyone who hesitates. The candidates freeze as the towering chairman steps forward, his mere presence silencing every murmur. He declares the cooking scores void, insisting the true trial lies in cold observation, not taste. Gon's eyes blaze with hunger for the license. Killua's grin tightens, ready for any twisted game. The chairman's sudden rule flip throws the exam into chaos, forcing every examinee to scramble for an answer before the timer runs out. Fear crackles in the air, hope teeters on a razor-thin edge, and the stakes become impossibly high.
The exam changes now. Observe, survive.
A thin voice whispers egg, as the chairman points toward a distant ridge. He explains hidden eggs scatter across the canyon, each marking progress toward the license. Gon lunges forward, desire to claim an egg burning brighter than fear. Killua darts beside him, speed turning the hunt into a deadly game of tag. Examinees spread, eyes darting, muscles coiled, each desperate to snatch the glowing prize. The cost sharpens. Miss an egg, and the canyon walls close in, sealing failure. Yet the real problem is already in motion.
Find the eggs. Survive the canyon.
The group reaches the canyon's lip, where a massive stone blocks the exit. The chairman's cold laughter reverberates, sealing the trap. The chairman shatters the exam's rules, pointing to a ridge where spider eagles suspend glowing eggs, forcing every examinee to sprint for the fragile prize, while a massive stone blocks their escape. Gon clutches a boiled egg, feeling its heat pulse like a lifeline. His resolve hardens as he watches Killua's eyes widen, both realizing raw observation now outweighs brute strength, and any slip could cost their future hunter licenses. The stone seals the canyon's mouth, the eggs dangle just out of reach, and the chairman's cold laughter echoes, leaving every candidate hanging above the abyss with death and destiny balanced on a trembling thread.
YouTube might never recommend this channel to you again. Don't risk it. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari right now. Gon rockets toward the towering spire, the red balloon bobbing like a prize caught in a storm. Killua darts beside him, silver hair a living blur, smirking as he shatters a rival's grip with a single strike. Rio bellows, veins pulsing, his fists ready to crush anyone who dares stand in their way. Kurapika's scarlet eyes flare, recalling the blood-soaked massacre of his clan, and lock onto the floating target. The midnight sky crackles, each heartbeat thunders. One wrong move and the hunter badge will never shine. The tower looms, its crimson balloon swaying like a trophy for the gods. Gon lunges forward, Nen sparking around his fists, while Killua's silver hair blurs, each footfall echoing like thunder.
Gon's Nen erupts like a wildfire as he charges the tower, Killua, Rio, and Kurapika fighting off desperate rivals in a brutal scramble for the Crimson Balloon prize. Rio throws his body into the fray, veins bulging with fury, shielding his friends at all costs, while Kurapika's scarlet eyes blaze with a deeper, burning resolve. From the shadows, a mysterious challenger taunts them, brandishing a bizarre weapon that crackles with menace, promising the next test will shatter everything they thought they knew.
The video is over, but the story isn't. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.